So as you guys can see, the lesson that we are diving into right now is going to be how to find hot news. How to find that very hot fire, that breakout press release. How are we going to find every single morning the stock that's going to lead to some of the biggest spiking, the biggest momentum, the biggest breakouts? Because when it comes to day trading, it does come down to who can find the hottest press release first. That's what a lot of day trading is when you think about it. If we have a whole list of stocks, and every single morning we have press releases come out on these stocks, who can find the hottest press release out of all the hundreds of press releases, out of all the thousands of stocks? And if you can find that hot press release first, you are going to be able to make the most money. So how do we do that? How can we find the hottest news? And this is what I want to teach you, because it's not as complicated as you guys think. You just need to know the criteria of how to find hot news. But I remember this used to be one of the biggest mind-boggling things to me. I used to always say when I first started stock trading, all right, hey, what are the top gainers of the day? And I would look over on finviz.com or yahoo.com, or I would just be looking through social media to find, what's the hottest place. But that was after they already spiked. And then after they already spiked, I would go through them and I'd be like, oh, okay, this stock came out with this press release, or this stock came out with this press release. And I would say to myself, if only I could find the press releases right when they came out, I would never lose. I would be making so much money. You know why? Because news leads to big spikes. So if I can find the hot news almost immediately when it comes out, I would be able to make so much money, because as we know, press releases lead to some of the biggest top gainers. So how to find hot news? Let's dive in on this and let's talk about it. So why do we look for news? And I kind of already briefly discussed some of this, but news or press releases equals volume. Volume equals activity. One of probably my favorite go-to saying, as long as we have volume in the market, we're going to be able to make money. Volume is going to be the shares traded from hand to hand. Volume is not just buyers. Volume is not just sellers. Volume is going to be making a stock go up or down. And very simple, easy way I like to think about it is volume is just the amount of people on a stock. That's not the correct definition. Again, volume is the shares traded from hand to hand. But when I say the stock has very big volume, it means the stock has a lot of traders in on that play, a lot of shares, a lot of orders. People are attracted to that stock. So the more people we have going in towards a play, the more people that want to be buying that stock, the more people that are buying, selling, and getting movement towards that play, the better, because that means more money we can make. We know, again, news equals big spikes or big crashes. If we see right now a penny stock, let's say it's trading at $1 per share, comes out and says, hey, we have just discovered the cure to cancer. We have a 100 out of 100 success rate. We have never had any sort of side effects. Anyone who takes this, shot will never get cancer. And if you have it, it's going to heal it. What would happen to that stock? That stock would shoot all the way up to $100, $200, $300. And that's what leads to some of the biggest rips, biggest spikes, and the biggest plays. When a company comes out with news, we see massive spikes and we see massive breakouts. So what really happens here? First come, first serve. That's the way of the day traders. There's not really much rules. There's not many regulations. There's no one that's going to be saying, hey, wait for me, right? It is first come, first serve. It's like a pack of wild animals sometimes in the day trading market. Because if you get, again, to that food first, you're going to have the most food, right? If you get to the press release first, you are going to be able to make the biggest profit. So the name of the game is find the hottest press releases as quickly as you can before the mob, before the majority of buyers all find that. Because once the thousands and millions of traders find the same press release that you're looking at, guess what? They're going to be buying that, and that's going to be skyrocketing. Don't hesitate. Don't wait for other people to get there. If you see the hottest press release first, get in, get after it. And once other people and more people start finding it, your profits are only going to go up and up and up. So why do we again look for press releases? It's going to lead to very big activity. Hot press releases equal big spikes. First come, first serve in the stock market. So what is probably the first criteria, the easiest step to try to figure out on how do we find hot news? Because that's the big question right now. So let's start breaking down some of this criteria. And the first thing that we want to understand is, well, when does news come out? Right? Because if we're looking for hot news at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if we're looking for hot news at 1 in the morning, if we're looking for hot news at 10:30 in the morning, we're looking at the wrong times. So we need to understand when news comes out. News is going to start coming out at 7 a.m. Eastern time, and this is again New York time. So if you guys are on the West Coast, that's going to be 4 a.m. If you guys are, in Europe or some other place, you guys are again going to have to figure that out. But 7 a.m. New York time, Eastern time is when we start seeing our big press release waves. From 7 o'clock, it's going to be every 30 minutes. So we have 7 o'clock in the morning, then we have a wave at 7:30. Then after 7:30, we have a news at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, then we go to 8:30. Then after that, 9 o'clock. And then we usually have a couple little ones at around 9:30. But for that 2.5 hour span, it's every 30 minutes. Now, within that 30 minutes, you're going to have small little press releases drizzle in here and there. But if you are really just saying, okay, when is the bulk of press releases going to be coming out? It's going to be every 30 minutes, starting at 7 a.m. Then, of course, all the way up towards around 9:30, with the biggest press releases at 8 o'clock and 8:30. So what do I mean by this? Well, let me go ahead and I will show you exactly what I mean by this as I bring up my news streamer. So here's our news streamer. And this is going to show us all the news every single morning, every single day. And we can filter this out by time. And if we scroll all the way back to this morning, we can see, if we go all the way back towards around 7 o'clock, we could see right at 7 o'clock, we start getting a lot of news. Notice what's happening right here. Right when we get to 7 o'clock, everyone can look right here. 7 o'clock, we have news. 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Look how much news is coming right around that 7 o'clock mark. A good amount of news, right? A lot and a big bulk of news comes out right at 7 o'clock. So we could say to ourselves, hey, if we know to be watching the news streamer right at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a decent chance of being able to find some sort of press release. So noticing just by, knowing what time news comes out, we're already getting an understanding of, hey, I could possibly find a very big press release that's going to lead to a very big spike, very big rip, very big run. Notice what I said as well. Every 30 minutes is going to be the main press release waves, but we're also going to get a couple drizzles every, 15 minutes. So notice at around 7:12, 7:15, 7:15, 7:16, we get a couple little press releases. Now, guess what happens? Right around 7:30, we start getting more press releases. 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, 7:30, we get another little wave. Now, we come up to 7:45, we get a couple more press releases. 7:45, 7:45, 7:45. 8 o'clock and 8:30 are going to be your main waves every day. 8 o'clock and 8:30 is when you really want to be watching the press release scanner. That's when you really want to be on the hunt, because the majority of your big press releases are going to come out during that time. 8 o'clock and 8:30. Watch the news streamer here. 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We're still going. We're still going. Look how many there are right here, all at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 8:01. We're still going up to 8:02 because we have so much news that's coming out. So it does come down to basically, it's a numbers game. If we have, let's say, 10 press releases come out at 7 o'clock, and then we have 5 press releases come out at 7:15, and we have 10 press releases comes out at 7:30, and 5 press releases come out at 7:45, and we have 50 press releases come out 8 o'clock, we're going to have a better chance of finding a hot press release at 8 o'clock because we have more press releases. As you guys can guess, what happens next? Again, very big press release wave at 8:30. So notice at 8:30, we get another press release wave, and it's a so on and so forth. 9 o'clock, we have another big press release wave. And then, of course, we get some right around 9:30. So we can start developing, all right, that's the time I really want to be focused on the news. That's the time I want to start seeing a little bit more of these breakouts. That's the time, of course, I want to be really watching that scanner. And every single day on Tradecaster.com, I am live streaming that scanner for you. You guys don't need to go out and spend $100, $200 on new scanners. I will stream them right there for you guys in chat. So you guys don't need to go out and be spending money on things that you should be saving for your trading account. I always try to make sure that I can stream everything I can for you guys so you guys can use as much money in your trading accounts and not have to worry about buying that equipment. So again, you guys do not have to worry about that. As long as you guys are in chat, you guys are going to be good. As long as you guys are awake, that's going to be up, because I wake up every single day to put that up for everyone to watch it, including myself. So, is news really that important? Yes, news is everything in the penny stock market. This builds up hype and this builds up momentum. And that's what penny stocks run off of. Penny stocks run off of hype. Penny stocks run off momentum. Penny stocks are going to go on the biggest spikes, the biggest climbs because of news. And that's what we have seen day in and day out, right? I'm going to show you guys a couple different examples, right? What have some of the best spikes been in the penny stock market, let's just say over the past few months? What about SPI? SPI going from 80 cents all the way up towards around $47. 80 cents to $47. That means right here, if you had $800, just $800 in your account, and you went and you bought 1,000 shares, you could have made roughly around $46,000 on this play. Imagine that investment. Imagine that return. Hey, let me put in at this time $800 and you make $46,000 in one day. I mean, it doesn't get any more mind-boggling than that, and that's the wild thing about penny stocks. What about over on KODK? KODK right here. This stock went from $2 all the way up towards $60, and imagine having a $2,000 in your account. You buy in on KODK, 1,000 shares at the price of $2. The stock runs up to $60. You make $58,000 in the matter of 2 days. How insane, how wild is that? And that's the beautiful thing about penny stocks, that they lead to these huge rips and huge runs. I mean, we can even check out REV, which has been an absolute great run. We can check out APVO, which has been an absolute great run. We can check out ALTM, which has been an absolute great run. We are seeing spikes left and right. And it all is because of hot news, hot press releases, and hot momentum. So when we see these big time spikes, when we see these big time climbs, we know a lot of it is from news, and people are excited from that hype and momentum that is coming in on these plays. Absolutely perfect. So let's start figuring out at this point, how do we determine if it's a good press release or not? How do we determine if it's, something that we really want? So we're continuing on with our strategy. We already talked about the strategy, as in we know when that news is coming out. We know when the majority of these breakouts happen. These breakouts are going to be happening in the morning because we do see a lot of hot news come out in the morning. 7 o'clock, with every 30 minutes, we have a hot PR wave. So what do we look for in these hot press releases? So what do we look for right here? We are looking for keywords. And in these keywords, we're looking for italic bold, strong CEO statements. We do not waste our time reading the whole entire press release, right? Because that's one of the biggest no-nos you can do. Guys, these penny stocks, we are getting in of them and we're getting out. We're getting in, we're getting out. We're getting in, we're getting out. We're looking and we're chasing where the money's at, right? We want to get in where the money is going to be. So we get in on one play, we make our money, we leave that play. We do not need to waste our time reading the whole entire press release. I don't want to see anyone, again, getting into a stock, or let's say, saying to themselves, oh, Dek, I want to buy in on the stock, but I got to read the rest of this press release. To be strict with you, to be frank with you, to be straight and blunt with you, the only thing I really read on a lot of press releases is the title. Because you know what? After the title, it doesn't really matter to me too much. Sometimes I may go a little bit lower than the title, but the title is all I really need to know if it's a good press release or if it's a bad press release, right? And the easiest way to be able to do this is by looking for hot keywords. Now, again, underneath our hot keywords and underneath our title, we'll see, italics bold. Sometimes we see strong CEO statements. That's absolutely great. But really, the title is going to be everything. Because if you think about it, you read a title, it says, stock XYZ has cured cancer. No one will ever again get it if you take this vaccine. You know what? That's all I need. I don't need to read any more about what country it's in and what everything else that's happened and how they developed it and what I don't need to know any of that. I just need to know, wow, that's a huge statement. That's going to bring in hype. So the best thing that I did to be able to help you guys out and be able to figure out if it's a good press release or not, you guys have seen this a million times in chat, but this is our keyword list. So this is what every single trader should study. Every single trader should study this. And, I know this by heart. Right, I know this whole entire thing by heart. Like, I won't even look at it, and I already know that if I look, 3-star words, 3-star words are going to be, positive, significant, treatment, agreement, cancer, collaboration, successful, awarded, primary, endpoints, top of the line, all those successful, right? All different things along those lines. And why is that? Because I know these by heart. Because these are words that are going to get me so excited to go ahead and jump in on plays. The moment I see these words, I know it's a good, credible press release to go ahead and jump in on right away. And notice when I say these words, these are all more on the positive side, right? If I read some of the 3-star words, positive, top of the line, like top of the line results, significant, demonstrates, treatment, agreement, partnership, collaboration, successful, increases, awarded, primary. These are all very good positive keywords, right? Look at the 2-star words. Very positive. Receives, approval, fast track, breakout, acquires, contract, completes, promising, achievements. Right? A lot of the times you're going to see multiple keywords all in one, press release, where maybe we see a stock come out with, hey, today we had positive phase 2 data on the top of the line results. Our top line results have demonstrated significant results in our treatment. Something along those lines. So sometimes we see multiple keywords. The best thing that we can see is positive endpoints. When we reach our endpoints, that's one of the best press releases we can see that usually lead to very big spikes and very big rips right away. Quick example of that one, we actually had one last night where a stock reached its endpoints. And the endpoints are basically the ultimate goal. So what we have right here is FPRX. And FPRX, this one actually came out in after hours, post-market, where FPRX went on a great climb. The stock was able to go from $7 and spiked all the way up to $24. So let's actually bring this press release right over on Yahoo Finance right here. If we go over to FPRX, we can bring this right on over and we can scroll down and we can see that this was 2 days ago. So we can go towards this play. And you can see all these little press releases that are kind of going off of that. But what we have is right here, 2 days ago. It says 2 days ago, we have Zai Lab partner 5 Prime Therapeutics announces chemotherapy demonstrates a significant progression, freeing overall survival benefit compared to placebo chemotherapy for its junction in cancer, right? I'm skipping some of these huge words that don't really mean anything to us because I'm looking for these hot keywords. So what's our hot keywords right here? We saw FPRX. Look at the spike we have. FPRX goes from $7, runs all the way up to $25. Again, does anyone actually completely understand everything in this press release, right? If I read it like this, isn't it a lot more confusing? Zai Lab partner 5 Prime Therapeutics announces bemarituzumab plus chemotherapy demonstrates significant progression, free and overall survival benefit compared to placebo plus chemotherapy in frontline advanced gastric and gastric junction cancer. It's like, what? Right? What did you just say? What are you even talking about? So the easiest way, and you're going to see a lot of press releases like this. You're going to see a lot of press releases like this where you're saying, what does this even mean? So the easiest and the best thing to really do, guys, is just to break it down. And we go right to our keywords. Keywords look for on hot press releases, and we say to ourselves, all right, what's our keywords? Well, we have the word demonstrates. Okay, demonstrates. Usually when we're demonstrating something, that brings in a lot of hype. So demonstrates right there. What else do we have? We have the word significant. Significant, aka important. So we're demonstrating important what? Well, we're going to be important progression on our survival. That has to do with what? Cancer, right? Cancer right there. And cancer is a 3-star word. So we're demonstrating significant, survival results with cancer. That's huge. Those are all great keywords. We can also see right underneath it, what do we have? All 3 efficiency endpoints have been met. Right? Statistically significant. Okay, so we have our endpoints have been met, have been statistically, another 3-star word, significant. Notice what happens then. All of a sudden, FPRX goes on this massive spike, this massive rip, and this massive run. It's so cool how you don't even need to know about this company. You don't need to know, again, what their drug trials are. You don't need to know anything about, and it works for every single company out there, from oil plays to biopharmaceutical companies to, again, different retail stocks to shipping plays to, as long as we see some of these keywords, we know right away they're good. Because that used to be the most confusing thing, seeing all these different, let's say, different trials and different medications and their names of results. Hey, we have been testing XYZ, dash BA4 that has resulted. And it's like, we don't need to even know what that is. All we have to know is our keywords and our hot press releases. So make sure, of course, you guys are understanding that and watching for these hot words every single day. So once we find these hot keywords, we know right away it's worth getting involved in. So we already know at this point, to find hot press releases, we want to be looking at 7 in the morning all the way to 9 o'clock with 30-minute intervals of hot waves, and we're looking for these hot press releases, okay? So, or these hot keywords in these press releases. As we can see, some of the most important ones for 3 stars are primary endpoints, positive, cancer demonstrates, phase 3, successful drug trials, right? These are ones that are going to lead to massive spikes and massive rips. Now, it's important to remember, these all need to be low floats, right? A stock with great results won't spike if it is a larger float. So we need to know that every single time we play one of these stocks, they need to be on the lower float side. If you are brand new to stock trading, one of the most important things to remember is to always jump in on plays that have lower floats if you're looking for hard spikes, because the bigger the float, the harder it is to move. The lower the float, the easier it is to move. So a lot of the stocks that you guys are going to see day in and day out, the best ones are going to be stocks that have lower floats. For instance, EDRY. EDRY has underneath, see it says FLT right here, float, underneath 1 million in float. So it goes on a very big spike. Notice how IMAC right here has 7 million in float. And this morning, it was able to go on a very big spike. Notice how GTEC has 2 million in float. And over the past few days, it's been able to go on a very big spike. So the stocks with the lowest floats will always go on the biggest spikes. Sometimes you may see a play with a very large float that has a good press release. And you say, why is the stock not spiking as hard? Well, that's because, again, the float is going to definitely determine that. So it's very important to always be studying float. Make sure if you guys need more help with float, you go over to the video library on TradeCast and just type in the word FLOAT. So again, we have float right here. What is float? How to use float? Make sure you guys are studying up these lessons, and that's going to be able to help you guys out much more, of course, in our video library, and be able to watch those lessons to be able to get a better understanding of what float is. But rule of thumb, we always want to be playing stocks that are 5 million in float or lower. If a stock has 5 million in float and comes out with a press release, it's going to be very simple and very easy to just try to get in and then see that stock take on off. If you start seeing 20, 30, 40, 50 million in float, it may be a little bit slower because it's going to be much harder to move. Okay? So, right now, you guys are probably saying to yourself, all right, Dek, I'm understanding right now we want to look for these hot keywords. All right, that's great. I'm understanding right now that these press releases come out in the morning and in the afternoon every 30 minutes. And that could be at 7 in the morning up towards 9:30 or 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock when, again, the market is now closed. But how do I actually find them? Well, again, what I always do, of course, when I'm streaming my news streamer every single morning, this is my technique. This is what I do every single day. So what I would be looking for, and the way that I scan every single day is, of course, I wait until 7 o'clock and 7:30. Now, when these 30-minute intervals hit, I am looking at my news streamer. I already know the time, right? Obviously, I'm looking at the news streamer at 7:30 or at 8 o'clock, let's say, because I know the hot press release wave is going to be coming out. I have the symbol because a lot of times I'll be familiar with a certain play. And my next thing I have right in line is going to be my float. So I have the time. I know it's 8 o'clock. So I'm basically not even focused on the time at this point because I already know it's, the 8 o'clock time. I know it's going to be a hot press release wave. Then on top of that, I always want to have the symbol out. Why? Because I want to know what stock to jump into if I need to. Also, again, what is the press release ticker? And a lot of times I may know some of these stocks. If I already seen them spike in the past before, it makes me a little bit more interested on them. Then after that, my column right here is float. So I want to be looking for a stock that is underneath 10 million in float. Most of the time, especially when we have a lot of news comes out, if a stock is not even underneath 10 million in float, I don't even give it a look. So let's say, again, a stock will be a 24 million float. It doesn't even allow me to pass the test to move over to the headline. And that's kind of how I think about it. Go through each one from time to symbol to float to headline. Does it pass the test? So is it, again, let's say 7:50? Well, we don't even pass the test. We want to be in a hot press release time, which would be 8 o'clock. So again, 8 o'clock is here. Okay, pass the test. Go to the next wave. Next one right here. Again, the symbol. Okay, we'll see what stock's going to take on off. If we are familiar with it, that's even better. So again, we pass the test. Next, again, question basically we have is, do we have a low enough float? What we want to look for is a stock underneath 10 million in float. CSGS, 22 million float. I don't even need to waste my time even reading this title. AEAS, 27 million float. I don't even need to waste my time reading this title. TBI doesn't pass the test. USM doesn't pass the test. CYAN, 8 o'clock, Again, CYN, seen it a few times, has some big time spikes, doesn't really matter as much. This play, again, 2 million in float. Passed the test. Now, again, I read the press release. Okay, this press release right here says financial results of second quarter. That's an earnings report, right? That's an earnings report that's coming out right here. So, again, not anything too crazy unless I see, let's say, the volume at the morning starts, spiking very hard. That's, again, where I'd want to keep my eyes peeled on it. So, if you guys take a look right here, we have also our volume sector. Now, remember, in the morning, at 7 o'clock in the morning, all these are at 0. Every single one of these will be at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So the thing is, when we see a hot press release comes out, everything will be at 0, and then you'll see one stock, let's say, start going to 5,000. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. That obviously means people are jumping in on the play. So this obviously means people are jumping in on the play and getting involved with it. So if I see a stock in the right time frame with a low float and one of the good credible press releases, one of the key words that we always like to look for, we can jump in on it. If we are a little unsure, you can see the volume. And the volume, of course, is people jumping in on this play. So we see 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. That is people all around the world putting in shares. 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares, 4,000 shares, collectively 100,000 shares. Now, again, the stock keeps going up, 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 up. We know that stock is hot right away. So my strategy that I do every single day is wait for, again, hot PR times and just check it off if it can go. It's hot time. Here's the ticker. Do we have a low float? We have a low float. Do we have, again, a hot keyword in the press release? We do. It is, again, volume starting to move in. Hey, I'm seeing some orders come on in. I can go buy in right away. But the last thing we ever want to do is what? The last thing we ever want to do is see a ginormous spike and then buy into it. We don't want to see EDRY go from $4 to $15 and say, woo, EDRY. $4 to $15, time to buy in on it at $15. You know why? Because again, the stock just drops all the way on off, right? We don't want to say to ourselves, all right, yes, let's do it. FPRX has gone from $5 all the way up to $25. Come on, let's buy this one. It goes from $25 back on down to $16. If you guys want to find the hottest press releases, you can make money on the whole entire way on up, but you can't wait. And that's the hardest part. There is going to be multiple times in your trading career where you guys are finding the hottest press release right away. And then what happens? The stock moves up and moves up and moves up and moves up. And you're like, I don't know if I can buy. I don't know if I can buy. Moves up, moves up, moves up, moves up. Come on. And moves up, moves up. You finally buy it. And it's after the stock already spiked $6, $7, $8, $9. And the stock starts falling. You say, oh, I saw the press release right away. I just didn't buy it because I didn't know if it was actually going to spike. Be confident in yourself. If you see, again, if everything passed the test, where it's in, again, a nice hot time, you see that has a low float, it has a keyword, and on top of that, more people are buying in on this play, it's passed all the tests right here. You checked off everything. Get in on that play as quickly as you can. But this is, again, what I like to do every single day, right? To be able to say to ourselves, hey, let's go ahead and be able to make some money. So this is how I'm able to find a lot of plays right in the morning. This is how I'm able to, again, be successful. This is how every single day I'm able to put together our Dekmar Trades morning watch list where I'm able to, again, make huge profits such as $1,900 and get all of our traders ready for, okay, EDRY, IMAC, PXS, RKDA, SYPR, because I'm finding all the hot news every morning because I know where to look, right? I know where to look. I know what to be focused on right here. So let's, again, jump back in on this lesson. Let's start, again, getting a little bit more understanding behind it. So far, again, to find hot press releases, we know hot press releases lead to some of the biggest spikes. We're excited about that. We know they bring in all that big-time momentum. We know they come out every 30 minutes starting at 7 o'clock. We know how important it is. What we're looking for is really those hot keywords. But, again, the italic bold, what I mean by this is underneath the title, sometimes we see has reached endpoints. Like when I showed you the endpoints, a lot of times that'll be in bold, and that's something that always brings in a lot of attention as well. Strong CEO statements are always great if you continue to read on. And on top of that, as I said, don't waste your time though reading too much into it, because the moment you're reading into it is the time that other people are buying it. You want to try to get in first, not be buying after people, only, again, pushing their profits up. Get in first. Right, here's our keyword list, as I've talked about. Best, press releases to check out. And of course, remember, a stock with great results won't spike if it's not a large float. So awesome to see. So we talked about all the positives right here. Just a little side note, what's one of the worst things we can see? The worst thing we can see is offering. I've showed you guys a lot of great, hot positive words, but I want to show you the worst word. And what's the worst word we have right here is offering. Public offering, direct offering. An offering is when a company puts more shares into a stock. It allows more people to buy up shares, but it also raises the float of a stock. There's more shares offered to the public. So that's going to make the stock less valuable, or its current price, and the stock starts dropping on down. So just a little side note, I wanted to throw that in there. If you ever see the word offering or public offering or direct offering, something along those lines, a lot of the times the stock will have a very strong drop. Stay away from it. Probably not a play you're going to want to be getting involved with anytime soon. So just wanted to throw there. But of course, I want to show you guys some examples to kind of give myself some more credibility of what we have already gone over. Here's again a great spike over on BPTH. You could see BPTH on this example right here has gone from not $0 exactly, but near that $0 mark. The stock was sitting right around $1.25 and it was able to spike all the way up towards around 70 bucks. That's a huge spike. Going from around $1.25 all the way up towards around $70. That again is life-changing. Life-changing. And this happens within a 4-day span. How amazing is that? That's the beauty of penny stocks. What led to this spike? What led to this rip? Well, as you guys can see right here, let's circle all of our keywords together. We have Biopath announces clinical update to interim analysis on our phase 2. Phase 2 right here. And also talking about leukemia, which does have to do with cancer. So we have phase 2, leukemia. Again, that's bringing in some hype and momentum. But look at this. This is our italic bold right here, or italic font, that says our phase 2 study demonstrates meaningful improvement with excellent patient studies. So demonstrates meaningful improvement with excellent patient studies. Okay, hold on one second. Let's go back here. So what did we have right here as we talk about? Demonstrates meaningful. That's always great. And on top of that, we have improvement. So we have demonstrates meaningful improvement with our phase 2 studies that have to do with cancer. Look at all those, again, great keywords. Why do you think, again, now BPTH went on such a great spike? Why do you think BPTH went on such a great rip here? Why do you think BPTH went on such a great climb? Right? That's so awesome to see. So let's do another one. What about ALT? ALT, we're talking about this big time spike right here on ALT. What happened on ALT, which led to this big rip, this big run, where this stock was able to go from $2 and spike all the way up towards around $5.80? Well, this stock announces positive results. Very simple, very easy, positive results, positive data from its phase 2. That's really all I need to look at. If I want to read a little bit more, you can also see the word demonstrates again. Very, very solid. So, I mean, just looking at the title, we're usually good to just be able to say to ourselves, okay, hey, if we read the title and we see some keywords, we know right away the stock's going to be able to go on a very big spike. But nearly every single day, you guys will be able to find some sort of positive press release, just like I showed you guys over on FPRX, where that one was able to go on that nice climb. So, how do I scan for news? As I already went over, teaching you guys the criteria. It basically comes down to just making sure that each one of these boxes passes the test every single morning. Now, again, what's the test that we look for? A, is it in the right time frame? Are we at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock? Okay, cool. After that, again, we're looking for the ticker, just seeing if it's anything we know of. Sometimes when you've been trading for a long time, you'll know if a stock has a lot of hyper momentum. Sometimes hey, that play gives everything back. Oh, that play spikes really hard. Hey, that play is usually pretty dead. So sometimes it's just great to be aware of all the tickers, and that comes with time. After that, guys, we got to see, does it have a low float? If it has a low float, again, we move on. Right? We move on. There we go. Underneath 5 million. Does it have a hot keyword? There we go. We move on. Does it have any sort of volume starting to run into it? Because trust me, people are going to run in the moment it comes on in. And yes, there it goes. We move on. And what I'm referring to, again, if you guys do not know, is right here. Do we have, again, right time? Do we have the right symbol? Do we have a low float? Are we going to start seeing, again, a hot keyword? And, of course, are we seeing hot volume move in? Because everything will be at 0 in the morning, and you'll start seeing volume start spiking on in, and the percentage will start changing on up to the green. So that's what I always like to do to be able to make sure that I am getting in at the right time, right area, and on the right play, of course. So on top of that, Best scanning companies, a little heads up for you guys at the end of this. Equity Feed, that's what you guys are seeing on my screen. Equity Feed actually just changed their name to Scans, SCANZ, if you guys are interested on it. We also have Bazinga Pro, they're very good with it as well. And then unfortunately, there's not really any free news streamers. You know, a lot of people always ask me that. Is there any free news streamers I can get instead of spending, let's say, you know, $200, $300 a month, or Bazinga for $100 or $150 a month? Unfortunately, there's not. If you guys want to, you know, get a news streamer, the best thing you're going to get is basically being able to look at, let's say, you know, the pre-market gap ups in the morning and then running over to newsfilter.io and then typing the stock over in the top right hand corner and trying to find, you know, what the news is. So there's not any sort of free news streamer, but this is one of my favorite sites, newsfilter.io, to find news right away, right? Let's say, okay, hey, I start seeing right now iMac is starting to move on up. Okay, you can go over to iMac, and usually they're the first ones to come out with any sort of news. They are quicker than Yahoo Finance. They're quicker than most other sites. So this is the one that I like to use whenever I see a stock start spiking and I want to check if it has news right away. But to actually get news sent to you, the number one thing to do is either A, be able to go ahead and get yourself a news streamer, or B, just be here in Tradecaster and I will stream it for you. So if you guys, again, don't want to spend the extra money to go ahead and, you know, put some funds up, that's absolutely fine. I'll, again, just stream it for you so that you're all set, ready to go. Just be in chat and you guys will be all ready to rock. So I wanted to take this time, be able to go over absolutely everything, help you guys out, and show you how I'm able to find news every single morning at the start of the day and at the end of the day for these big time breakouts. I know that's a huge question for a lot of traders. They're always asking, how do you find the best spikes? How do you find the best rips? How do you find the best runs? Well, this is exactly how. So I wanted to break that down, make sure that was nice and easy, nice and simple, and kind of clear up the air behind that. Awesome job, awesome work. As always, hopefully you guys are killing it in your trading and taking this to be able to add to your toolbox to get some nice big profits. Enjoy it, and of course, if you need anything at all, please let me know.